All right, this is the second video. We're going to start working on the top of the kayak. I've turned the whole boat over, and here is the big pile of 8-foot slats that I just cut, and let's see how it goes. The first thing to do is to lay a row against the shear line of the bottom. But this row we're not going to glue in place. We're just going to tack it in place with some nails so that later we can pull the entire top off and the entire bottom off in two separate pieces while we fiberglass them and then later join them together. So at this point I've got two strips on the top half. This is where the bottom half starts. So two strips on the top half, and then I put a center strip down the middle. So my next task is to sort of fill in this space here. So today I'm going to put a few more pieces on, and I'm going to put on these little accent pieces that I made, and we'll see how it looks. So I made these little accent pieces here, just cutting some parallelograms of yellow cedar and regular cedar and a little piece of purple heart there. And I'm going to put those one on each side like that, and I think it'll give kind of a cool little design feature to break up the just straight cedar strips. If I can give you one suggestion along the way, it's to cut more strips than you think you need. Here's me back at the router and the table saw cutting some more strips. Here I am routering the bead and the cove on because I ran out about 2/3 of the way through stripping the top of the deck. So if you can, cut at least 30 or 40% more strips than you think you need, and then you'll probably be okay. This is the back of the boat where the strips are starting to come together. So I just have a thin little gap to join the centerpiece with the edge. And I think I'm gonna put a little bit of purple heart in there to give it a little kind of style. And then the front is almost done. It's been stripped all the way back. I just basically have this kind of gap to fill here. And then these pieces are like this because this is where the cockpit is going to go. And so those pieces all get cut out for the cockpit. It's starting to get a little cold as I work because my shed here is not heated, and I just realized that this glue here is not really super good at low temperature. It doesn't really work below 10 degrees Celsius. You can see some of the earlier stuff really kind of dries clear, but then there was a cold day and it dried with kind of a white crust, and I'm not sure whether the glue has the same kind of strength when it dries like that. So I'm trying to get it done before the temperature drops too much. Few more pieces. So I'm really getting down there. I'm almost done the top. I just got a few more strips left, and then it's going to be a lot of sanding. And here I am just putting in those last few pieces. At this point I can just sort of cut a taper on each end and kind of slot it into place. And then I'm still using my bungees and clamps to kind of hold everything down as the glue dries. Like I said, I'm really trying to get these strips done before the weather gets too cold. So it's getting a bit cold out here. It's about, I don't know if you can see my breath. It's about 4 degrees, 3 degrees outside now. But I did want to cut out the cockpit. So I did do a little bit of scraping just to scrape off the glue and kind of get it a little bit even. I took out all the nails, and then it's time to cut out the cockpit section. So I used this cutout here as a template, and then I just put it over top here, and I measured it so that it was the correct distance from the front and the back, and then I just used a pencil to trace the line around. And I've already cut half of it out here. I just used my jigsaw and just cut along the line there, and then I can always clean it up later. This is obviously a little error that I made. I cut those pieces a little bit short when I was attaching them because I only had 8-footers, and 8-footers came to there. So my little fix for that is I made a little arrow piece, and I'm just gonna kind of glue that in there like that, and I think it'll look okay. All right, time to cut the rest of the cockpit out. And you can really start to see the shape of it now with the cockpit cut out, and I think it's looking pretty good. That's going to be the end of this video, and the next video will be sanding and fiberglassing.